Researchers at Penn State University did a study on mice, and they gave one group of mice a diet of 15% broccoli, and the other group of mice, they gave a regular controlled diet as the control group. And what they found was that, basically, I'll try to sum it up, they found that the mice who were eating the broccoli had an increased cells that led to an increase in mucus lining in the gut. And the rats not taking the broccoli had what they called an altered intestinal barrier function. And so what does this mean? Well, what this sounds like to me is, if you've ever heard of the term gut impermeability, or what's being referred to as leaky gut syndrome, essentially what that is you have a kind of like a dysfunctional barrier in your gut, which is allowing food and other things to pass into the bloodstream. And a lot of times this is caused by this mucus lining, which is not as strong, or there's not as much of it as you should have. One of the kind of remedies people will do for that is to eliminate certain foods. But the interesting thing is, just as in the fiber podcast I just released, fiber is actually what's going to increase your microbiome, your good microbiome in your gut, and is going to help to increase that mucus as well. And this is just kind of showing what actually is happening when you consume these high fiber foods. I don't know if broccoli is the only one that will do this. That's what they studied in this study. But I assume that, other plant-based foods will do the same. Anyways, this is interesting. Although, as I said before, you don't always want to take studies on mice at 100% value, because they don't always translate over to humans. But this kind of correlates with what we already know, and it makes sense. Basically, these fiber foods, and especially in this case broccoli, are increasing that mucus lining, and that's increasing your digestibility and preventing any kind of leaky gut syndrome. And they said that the mice who were fed the controlled diet also had, basically signs of what would lead to disease, right? So this is why your gut microbiome and what you eat is so important for preventing disease as well. And that's why a lot of times the answer to the whole leaky gut thing is really, you need to basically improve your digestion. And you improve your digestion by eating high fiber plant-based foods. And over time, that's going to basically fortify your digestion, increase the good bacteria, and your microbiome will improve, which will allow you to have a much better digestion, which is a huge key to health. So I wanted to bring this study to you. I hope you guys like this. Check out the description for any resources and ways to support this channel. And thanks for listening, guys.